सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सह गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि वाञ्छाकल्पतरोऽयस्य कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
धन्यं यशस्यम् आयुष्यम्
धन्यं यशस्यम् आयुष्यम्
पुण्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महत्
पुण्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महत्
स्वर्ग्यं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं
स्वर्गं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं
स्वर्ग्यं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं
स्वर्ग्यं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं
प्रशस्यम् अघमर्षणम्
प्रशस्यम् आगमर्षणम्
धन्यं यशस्यम् आयुष्यम्
धन्यं यशस्यम् आयुष्यम्
पुण्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महत्
पुण्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महत्
स्वर्ग्यं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं
स्वर्गं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं
प्रशस्यम् अघमर्षणम्
प्रशस्यम् अगमर्षणम्
धन्यं यस्यम् आयुष्यम्
धन्यं यशस्यम् आयुष्यम्
पुण्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महत्
पुण्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महत्
स्वर्गं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं
स्वर्गं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं
प्रशस्यम् अघमर्षणम्
प्रशस्यम् अगमर्षणम् धन्यं यशस्यम् आयुष्यम् पुण्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महत् स्वर्गं द्रव्यं सौमनस्यं प्रशस्यम् अगमर्षणम्
माता जी
धन्यं यशस्यम् आयुष्यम् पुण्यं स्वस्ति अयनं महत् द्रव्य Swargam Dravyam Saumanasyam Prasasyam Agamashanam
Dhanyam,
Dhanyam
bestowing wealth.
bestowing wealth.
Yashasyam,
Yasasyam
bestowing reputation.
bestowing reputation.
Ayushyam,
Ayushyam
increasing the duration of life.
increasing the duration of life.
Punyam,
Punyam
sacred.
sacred.
Swasti Ayanam,
Swasti Ayanam
creating auspiciousness.
creating auspiciousness.
Mahat,
Mahat
great.
great.
Swargyam,
Swargam
bestowing achievement of heavenly planets.
bestowing achievement of heavenly planets.
Dravyam,
Dravyam
or Dhruvaloka.
Adruvaloka
Saumanasyam,
Saumanasyam
pleasing to the mind.
pleasing to the mind.
Prashasyam,
Prasasyam
glorious.
glorious.
Agamarshanam,
Agamashanam
counteracting all kinds of sinful activities.
counteracting all kinds of sinful activities.
Translation: by hearing the narration of Dhruva Maharaj, one can fulfill desire for wealth, reputation, increased duration of life. It is so auspicious that one can even go to a heavenly planet or attain Dhruva Lok, which was achieved by Dhruva Maharaj just by hearing about him. The demigods also become pleased because this narration is so glorious and it is so powerful that it can counteract all the results of one's sinful actions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Yeah.
There are different types of men in this world, not all of them pure devotees. Some are karmis desiring to acquire vast wealth. There are also persons who are only after reputation. Some desire to be elevated to the heavenly planets or to go to Dhruva, and others want to please the demigods or to get material profits. Here it is recommended by Maitreya that every one of them can hear the narration about Dhruva Maharaj and thus get their desired goal. It is recommended that the devotees, Akama, the Karmis, Sarvakama, and the Jnanis who desire to be liberated, Mokshakama, should all worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead to acquire the desired goals of life. Similarly, if anyone hears about the activities of the Lord's devotee, he can achieve the same result. There is no difference between the activities and character of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and those of his pure devotees. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Haridas Thakur ki
Jai.
Most auspicious disappearance day of Srila Haridas Thakur ki.
Jai.
So I'll just speak for 5-10 minutes. Chant the Hare Krishna mantra continuously and render service to the Tulsi plant by watering her and offering praise to her. In this way, you will very soon get the opportunity to be sheltered at the lotus feet of Krishna. So this is the instruction that Haridas Thakur gave to the prostitute before leaving. And as we all know, she became such a great devotee. Srila Prabhupada says that by serving Tulsi Devi, actually Tulsi is very, her mercy is very powerful. Srila Prabhupada said, just by worshipping Tulsi, you get two benefits. You get the benefit of serving a pure devotee, and you get the benefit of residing in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Yeah, this is next one is also very nice. She worshipped Tulsi plant, following the footsteps of her spiritual master. Instead of eating regularly, she chewed whatever food he received as alms, and if nothing was supplied, she would fast. Thus, by eating frugally and fasting, she conquered her senses. And as soon as the senses were controlled, symptoms of love of Godhead appeared in her person. So, on days like Ekadasi, on any festival day, the reason why fasting is recommended is to bring the senses under control. Thus, the prostitute became a celebrated devotee. She became very advanced in spiritual life, and many stalwart Vaishnavas would come to see her. So, what we'll do is we'll just read quickly few verses about the passing of Haridas Thakur, and especially Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's attitude towards Haridas Thakur, which is very, very astonishing. As we all know, um, Haridas Thakur, according to authorities, is Lord Brahma, and as Haridas Thakur, he performed astonishing pastimes. And Haridas Thakur, as Srila Prabhupada says, um, is a Namacharya. So, this chanting of the holy name is very central to the Krishna consciousness movement. And that's why we are the Hare Krishna movement, because the chanting of Hare Krishna is of prime importance. And in this verse, Dhruva Maharaj is speaking about, the verse is speaking about how one can attain all these things by reciting this message of uh, Maharaj Dhruva. So, of course, we can attain many things, but if we really want our life to be successful, then we should only desire one thing. We should desire to please the Supreme Lord. Actually, it's a very, very wonderful meditation, because the holy name, as Srila Prabhupada explains, the holy name is a prayer, is a cry for eternal loving service. So, the purpose of the holy name is to fill our entire being to the core of our heart with unlimited service attitude. So, in this Hare Krishna movement, Srila Prabhupada, under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, everything, everyone is an object of, or is a subject or object of our service. So the more and more we become filled with this desire to serve, give more and more service, the more and more that service attitude will fill our consciousness. And when we chant the holy name, then we will be able to uh, relish something, we'll be able to taste something. So this is very important. And we should be very, very careful if we want to make advancement in chanting of the holy name, that we should not, um, number one, we should not doubt the character of any devotee. Sometimes we may point out some mistakes, some things. Shishi Radha Govinda Taipadan Gore Jadguru Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes we may point out some things here and there, but we should never doubt the character. Sometimes, even if our mind starts doubting the character, one should immediately try to beg forgiveness and change one's attitude, because this is very dangerous, very, very dangerous when we doubt the character of a devotee. And we should never act in such a way, as much as possible, that we are like dousing, or we are diminishing the enthusiasm of any devotee. Because sometimes when we speak strongly, when we speak, sometimes instead of uplifting that devotee, we may discourage that devotee in performing Krishna consciousness. And that is not very nice. And the last thing is, it's very difficult, but I'm not qualified to speak all these things, but we should, when something happens to us which is undesirable, then we shouldn't become upset. Because, see, when we become upset with someone, when someone does something wrong to us, when we become upset with them, because we are practicing Krishna consciousness, they will definitely go through some mental trauma. Trauma is a strong word, but yes, some anxiety. It happens, we have experienced so many times. So when we go through something, then we should desire that others should not go through that. So that should be our consciousness. It's not that when we go through something unpleasant, let others also go through that. That is material consciousness. Spiritual consciousness means others should be better than me. Others should have better prasadam than me. Others should have better quality of life than me. Others should become better devotee than me. Others should get more wealth, more reputation, more fame than me. So, spirit, Krishna consciousness means the life of sacrifice. We recently celebrated Radhashtami. So, how much Srimati Radharani and her associates, how much they have the desire to actually sacrifice for others' happiness. If they did not make the sacrifice, we would not be here. Definitely would not be here. Yesterday, I was just meditating on Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur made such sacrifices for us, for us to practice pure devotional service. In one such, pastime, Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually went to the extent of he was ready to sacrifice his life to, destroy this so-called Falgu Bhagavan, this quote-unquote Bhagavan. So we should cultivate that mood of sacrifice. And yeah, very important, we should appreciate devotees. We should appreciate devotees for the sake of appreciating devotees without desiring anything in return. Actually, even in Krishna consciousness, many times this consciousness comes that, oh, if I do something for the devotee has to do something for me. If I make some sacrifice, they also have to make some sacrifice. So instead of having this mentality, we should try to cultivate humility, genuine humility, and genuine service attitude. And we should pray to Krishna to be given the privilege of being the servant of the servant of the servant. Only in this consciousness, when we are ready to humble ourselves, we're able to tolerate and we're able to be in the mood of the servant of the servant. Give respect to others, and if any respect comes to us, of course, not desiring respect, but if any respect comes to us, give it to the previous acharyas, give it to the spiritual master. Only in that consciousness can we chant the holy name. So this is very, very instructive. I'm sure you all know I'm just speaking for my own purification. So actually, the whole process of Krishna consciousness can be summed up in one, two lines that ultimately, I was just reflecting yesterday actually that I have been here 10 years. Many people have been here more. Many things have happened in those 10 years. But ultimately, what really stands out in my consciousness is how much I have made progress or how much I have not made progress. So that's the only thing which is valuable to us. So if we can act in such a way that Guru and Krishna can be pleased, that devotees can be pleased, that is the most important thing. Example is better than precept. So we are very, very fortunate and we should be very, very proud actually because our acharyas, our guru vargas, they are in such exalted position. So actually, I'm just reading this. This is actually how to say. This is a word by Maya. Maya is speaking to Haridas Thakur. After offering obeisances to Haridas Thakur, the woman said, I am the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I came here to test you. I have previously captivated the mind of even Brahma. What to speak of others? Your mind alone have I failed to attract. My dear sir, you are the foremost devotee. Simply seeing you and hearing you chant the holy name of Krishna has purified my consciousness. Now I want to chant the holy name of the Lord. Please be kind to me by instructing me about the ecstasy of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is now a flood of the eternal nectar of love of Godhead due to the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya. All living entities are floating in that flood. The entire world is now thankful to the Lord. Anyone who does not float in this inundation is most condemned. Such a person cannot be delivered from millions of kalpas. Formerly, I received the holy name of Lord Rama from Lord Shiva, but now, due to your association, I am greatly eager to chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. The holy name of Lord Rama certainly gives liberation, but the holy name of Krishna transports one to the other side of the ocean of nations and at last gives one ecstatic love of Krishna. Please give me the holy name of Krishna and thus make me fortunate, eh, so that I also may float in the flood of love of Godhead inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After speaking in this way, Maya worshipped the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, who initiated her by saying, just perform chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. After thus being instructed by Haridas Thakur, Maya left with great pleasure. Unfortunately, some people have no faith in these narrations. Anyways, so continues for quite some time. You can all read. But yeah, I thought of reading, it's very long, The Disappearance of Haridas Thakur. You can all read that. But yeah, it's really, really extraordinary actually that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally takes the body of transcendental body of Haridas Thakur, he dances, and Mahaprabhu personally begs alms, begs bhiksha, begs prasadam for the festival of Haridas Thakur. So we should all also have such a desire that when we leave our body, whether people may be around us, devotees may be there or may not be there, whether we may be in a holy place or not in a holy place, but we should pray intensely that we can take shelter of the holy name and we can take shelter of, especially, we can take shelter of the pure devotees. So if anything has kept me in Krishna consciousness or inspiring me to be Krishna conscious, it is the mercy of the pure devotees. So we should make the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master. We should have a relationship with them like our family member. It's like those who have families, they understand how much dear the family members are. That much dear should be Guru and the Parampara. So on these days, appearance and disappearance days, we should pray very intensely for their mercy. For what? To create such situation in our life so that we can focus on our internal progress. What is internal progress? Ultimately, it is absorption. To what extent are we cultivating absorption in our Krishna conscious activities? Speaking about myself, we regularly cultivate distraction, but distraction will not help us. We need to cultivate absorption. We need to hear from pure devotees. Sometimes we have many times the illusion that no, hearing is not so much important. We just should serve, we just should work. But ultimately, if we don't cultivate the proper consciousness, how will we achieve Krishna's pleasure? So we must hear. This is very important. Like speaking to myself, how many lectures of Srila Prabhupada have I heard? How many lectures of spiritual master have I heard? How many lectures of pure devotees have I heard? This is very important. Just by hearing, simply by hearing with a submissive mood and having a deep desire to apply the instructions, one can get great inspiration in spiritual life. One can get great inspiration in spiritual life. So one should cultivate this hearing principle. One should cultivate this attachment to the pure devotees. Not only when we come to Mangalarti, even sometimes we cannot come to Mangalarti. We should chant the Guru Vastak prayer. As soon as you go in the morning, go in the shower, we should chant Guru Vastak, Narsingarti, Tulsi Arti. We can chant. And in that way, we can cultivate this prayerful mood. Because the only thing which will save us is a prayerful mood. Tesham sadhiktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhyogamtam yenamam upayantite. So this information of how to attain our swarup, our eternal identity, this will be given to us. How? By blessing, by mercy. Bhakti is not something that happens by astrology, by good karma. No, it happens by blessings only by causeless mercy. There's no other way. Only pure devotees. If pure devotees think of us, remember us in the Nitya Leela, that is the only hope for us. So we are used to, in this material world, asking from so many people, so many things. Better to beg from someone who can give rather than begging from someone who cannot give. So we should cultivate this regular practice of begging from the pure devotees. Begging, please engage me in your service. Please engage me in your service. Please make me yours. This is very important. This is very important. And Prabhupada says that in our heart, when we receive messages, inspirations from the realized souls, that is our only hope to actually attain the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a great acharya in our movement, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, he achieved such an extraordinary level of prestige, actually, that it is mentioned that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is such an exalted devotee that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, for him to go to work, the British government personally constructed a railway track going just near his home, just for him. So, and so many things. Bhaktivinoda Thakur achieved so many, he wrote so many books, extraordinary. And also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also is Kamala Manjari, who is very intimate maidservant of Srimati Radharani. And this is very important also to note. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning that when Bhaktivinoda Thakur went back to the spiritual world, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after coming under the shelter of Lalita Devi, Bhaktivinoda Thakur came to meet Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani asked Lalita Devi that who is she? And Lalita Devi said she is a servant of Gauranga. As soon as mentioned that she is a servant of Gauranga, immediately Srimati Radharani became so much pleased. So this movement of Lord Chaitanya is very valuable. We should not sometimes come under the illusion of thinking only my sadhana is bhajan, only my chanting, only my review. No, serving this movement is also bhajan, is also very, very dear, and will become sepade hoibe siddhi, will become the reason for us to become to come in the presence of Krishna personally. So, and I'll just end with one last pastime, because we can chant so many rounds, we can do so many services, but what is very important is why we're doing what we're doing. That is very important. So, one day, this is when Shivra Maharaj narrated, and this glorifying our movement. So, Shivra Maharaj narrated that there's one sadhu, one devotee, one very little advanced devotee, not from ISKCON. So that devotee was instructed by his spiritual master to serve in Krishna Balaram Mandir. And he had the simple service, he was quite elderly, he had the simple service of, he was a postman. So after some time, he left his body and he became very sick. So Shara Maharaj, Bibi Govind Maharaj, they thought that he left the world. But suddenly he came back. They were shocked. They said, "What happened?" He said, "Yeah, actually, Lord Chaitanya came to me and Mahaprabhu told me that if you leave your body now, then you're not qualified to enter Raja. So what you do is you render service in this movement for 1 more year, and then after 1 year, uh, I will come and take you back to the eternal Raja." So we're very fortunate to be in such a movement that is the purpose of this movement is to facilitate our elevation to Vrindavan. That is the purpose of this movement. Every single activity in this movement is full of Raj Bhakti. If we have the eyes to see, if we have the heart to see, every single thing. Prabhupada, if you study carefully, how much does Prabhupada speak about spontaneous devotional service in Bhagavad Gita? Forget about any other book. In Bhagavad Gita, I was reading the other day, Prabhupada is speaking about rendering service to Krishna with spontaneous affection. In the opening pages of Bhagavad Gita, what changed my life is when I read in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, I read that there are 5 possible relationships possible with Krishna. I read the first one, okay. Second one, okay. I read friendship, okay. Then I read parental, okay. But when I read conjugal, I was shocked. I never heard like anything like this before. Which means what? Which means these words are living words. They're not just dead words. Prabhupada is personally present in those words. So that is the thing. So with that deep desire to attain spontaneous devotional service, to attain Raj Bhakti, we can chant on this 192 round marathon. We can try to beg the blessings of Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur also was the person who first gave mercy to Raghunath Das Goswami, who is our Prayojan Acharya. So Haridas Thakur also has given very, very special mercy. So we can pray at his lotus feet. We can pray at the feet of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that we can get mercy from them, not only for chanting, but to organize our life in such a way that our heart can become Vrindavan. And we can see everything around as at least this movement as Vrindavan. So everything in this movement is only to attain Vraj Bhakti, nothing else. Nothing else. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Jai.